bill that could give thieves a get out of jail free card. Now, it would create expanded diversion programs for offenses they consider crimes of necessity. But what exactly is a crime of necessity?
The amendments make it clear that this policy only applies to low-level theft crimes, no felonies, and codifies case law. And while we have diversion programs for drugs and mental health, we do not have the same for crimes of necessity led by poverty.
Joining us now, a man who's fighting back against this new bill, California State Assemblyman Carl DeMaio. Carl DeMaio, thank you for being here. What is a crime of necessity?
Well, basically, the Democrats.
Crime of necessity, huh? They just call them crimes of necessities. Now, this is a conflict. The conflict there's perspective on crime and deviance, right? Stealing food because of hunger brings fast arrest. Stealing millions of dollars through corporate fraud leads to small fines instead of jail time. Okay, so they are trying to normalize stealing because these people are poor, but 9 times out of 10, people that are robbing and stealing, they're doing it for money. They're doing it.
This policy only applies to low-level theft crimes, no felonies, and codifies case law. And while we have diversion programs for drugs and mental health, we do not have the same for crimes of necessity led by poverty.
Excuse me again. A crime of necessity. So most times, so just anything is a crime of necessity. So people need money, right, to buy their necessities. So is it okay for a person to go into a store or go into Macy's and just steal, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of merchandise in order to fulfill whatever quote unquote necessity they need? I'd really like to see what's in that bill, because you're essentially giving criminals a get out of jail free card to steal from these corporations.
Joining us now, a man who's fighting back against this new bill, California State Assemblyman Carl DeMaio. Carl DeMaio, thank you for being here. What is a crime of necessity?
Right.
Well, basically, the Democrats say that if you're poor, that forces you to go out and rob a store. Now, let me be very clear. No one is robbing stores for food, bread, eggs, milk, or butter.
Okay, now pause. I'm gonna say something. When I was living, my life before Christ, I was out there pushing grocery carts out of the food for lesses. Okay, I'll say that, like, full disclosure, like I was doing that, and no, it was not right. You know what I mean? But to be honest, yeah, a lot of people are not doing that, and it wasn't even necess. It wasn't for a necessity. It was because I felt like I needed to buy things or have things for whatever holiday was coming up. And this was before I had children. So let's be for real. A lot of people are going into stores stealing and then selling them back to little mom and pop shops for money for drugs. And I'm saying that because I live in a community where that is what people do. Like, that is just how they do. Keep their criminal organizations running. Again, like I said, I don't live like that anymore. But yeah, like, there are some people that are doing that, but that doesn't make it right. There are food pantries. There are other ways to go about getting food, if you're really hungry, okay, and destitute.
They're stealing Nikes and PlayStations. Let's be very clear about what crimes and what criminals they're trying to protect with these diversion programs. More offensively, when this bill was brought up, the author of the bill and the Democrats said Donald Trump is responsible for the crime wave. Because of H.R. 1, the big, beautiful bill, people will be going hungry, which is not true. The big, beautiful bill is all about cracking down on fraud and protecting taxpayer money. People who need help will continue to get help. But they said Donald Trump's going to cause a crime wave, and so we need to make sure when people do commit crimes because of necessity, because they're poor, that they not be put in jail. Voters in California overwhelmingly rejected this coddle the criminal nonsense last year
because contrary to popular belief, a lot of people in California just aren't having it. Like, they're not having this foolishness. Like, they're really getting tired of what Gavin Newsom has going on. People are really getting sick of, soft on crime bills. People undermining parental authority in California. It's really becoming just a crap show at this point. And it's embarrassing that we're sitting here literally talking about letting people go free or giving people rehabilitation programs for stealing and thieving. And we all know in Muslim countries they don't play that. You would get your hand chopped off. You would get like I just don't understand why you guys are acting as though, these crimes that you guys are committed are out of necessity. They're not. They're not. Just like you say, you're stealing PlayStations, you're going into stores, stealing Gucci purses and Rolexes and all of these things that you don't need to kowtow or to show off to people who don't like you and don't care about you in the first place. It's really insane how the materialism has taken over people's mind. They figure that, and now it's an insult because it's like the governor's saying, or this bill is saying, well, mm, since you're poor, we're just going to let you get this stuff for free at this point. You don't have to work hard to get what you need, or the things that you feel like you want. Like, let's just make everything free at this point to satiate that hunger for material things that you did not work for.
Prop 36, and they said we want to punish criminals because we cannot have a crime wave impacting communities.
Right.
Well, that's just it. So the people of California literally voted for stiffer criminal penalties against thieves, but the legislature is rolling back their will. I understand it's already passed the state assembly. Does it pass the state senate and literally legislators take away the will of the people?
Yes.
That's right.
There's no free will in California. They want to make you guys think that, this is a place where you can just have whatever you want and this is a utopia and your rights are respected. But we are seeing in 4K how your votes don't matter in these liberal cities. They don't matter. They matter up to a certain point, but then once they get all of their legislation passed, they actually really cared about implementing. They don't care about you guys not wanting criminals to steal your cars and steal your Cadillac converters. They don't care about that. They care about is their agenda and furthering their agenda. So the fact that you guys keep on voting in these Democrats is insane. And I'm thinking that a large majority of the people that are voting in these people and even the legislators need to be looked at this point. I mean, if we have somewhere we can look up Congress, these are people who are legislating these bills that essentially go against your will. But I bet you they have all of their houses and stuff, their assets protected. Let one of you poor people try to come over there and steal something out of Gavin Newsom's house. Guns are blazing. But you can't even defend yourself in California. You can't. You can. As a matter of fact, I'm not gonna look into it right now, but later on I will. It's just insane how you guys sit there and talk about, well, my votes don't matter, but then you go out and vote Democrat and then you still scream, oh, my votes don't matter. Where's the Lord in all of this? Truly. But people love their wickedness more than they love God. They love their sin more than they love their families. They love their sin more than they love their freedom. So it's like, okay, well, now they're capitalizing off of the fact that you guys love your sin.
That's right, Kaylee. In 2024, citizens rose up in the middle of a crime wave, did the work the politicians refused to do, and they made crime illegal again. The Democrats in 2014 and 2016, with two successive deceptive measures, basically said we're not going to allow prosecutors or police to prosecute most of these crimes. The voters said differently, 68%. And Kaylee, it passed even in San Francisco County. Okay, when something passes in San Francisco County, in every one of the 58 counties in California, it means that this is an overwhelming mandate of the voters. But these politicians do not care about the people's vote. And that's why they're passing bills like AB 2108. So as you mentioned, it soared through the assembly with almost no opposition. And now it is in the Senate. We believe we can kill it in the Senate because right now it is stuck in one of the committees. But there is still about 2 weeks left in the legislative session. So we're trying to amp up public pressure and outrage so that we can block this insane bill.
Make crime illegal again. I mean, let that sink in. It is absolutely maniacal. Thank you, Carl DeMaio. Appreciate you.
Be sure to like.
Furthermore, we literally have people that are okay with crime because as far as the conflict theory perspective, we need crime in order to keep people employed as far as police officers and those type of occupations. So therefore crime, because it keeps police officers patrolling your streets. Now we can sit here and have a conversation about how black people don't like how black people don't like crime. I mean, police officers, rolling up and down their streets, but then they push laws like this that facilitate crime where the police officers have to roam up and down your streets. They say, oh, they don't do it in Beverly Hills. Well, Beverly Hills don't have a problem with people stealing and committing all types of crime, right? I mean, I'm sure that they do, but not as much as the urban communities that I've grown up in and lived in. I just want it to make sense at this point. If you agree with what I'm saying or if you disagree with what I'm saying, like, comment, and subscribe below.